Everything lives in language. So in a book I learned about my class in California, it's called Understanding Computers and Cognition. It's a book that was written actually for computer programming. They wanted to understand the human language so they can program artificial intelligence, right? Interacting with computers to try and make things happen. And what they found in there is that, and this is not a fact, this is just a thing they could work from, right? There's other interpretations you can go with, but they worked with these things, that there are fundamentally 5 things that we do in language. Anything you say is one or more of these 5 things on a very fundamental level. There are promises, requests, declarations, assessments, and assertions. There's different ways to look at that. There's different words they use. But fundamentally, there's just a small number of things that we're doing. In my business, after I declare it into existence, right, and I have to manage it, I manage it pretty much with just 2 of those. And they are promises and requests. Right? My job is to get done. So I make requests of people. I hire people to help me. I take in business partners, whatever it is, and I make requests. And hopefully I've surrounded myself with good promisers, people who say, yes, I can get that done. Right? And that's how we get things done. I want to go over a diagram that's in that book. So this is what's called a basic conversation for action. And if you're working with anybody, this is the map you use. And we really only use the top line of it, the line that goes across the top. In our business, we refer to that as the yes path or the happy path. Obviously, it's the happy path because we're getting stuff done, right? So me, as the requester, I'm going to say something like, hey, please take out the garbage. And the promiser says, yes, I'll do that. They come to me and say, okay, great, I've done it. And I can either say, thank you, I'm happy, that great job, or I can go back and say, you forgot the bathroom garbages or something like that. But the idea is that's where we're trying to get to in any request. All the easy part. The rest of this stuff that you see here are what we refer to as breakdowns, when it doesn't work. So when I work with my managers, I work with them on learning how to make really good requests and to surround themselves with really good promisers. So when they make a request of someone and it doesn't get followed through on, who do you think we look at for why it didn't go wrong? Anybody? Common sense? You ask someone to do something, they don't do it. Right? Whose fault is it? Who do we blame? Anybody? Me, the requester, or the promiser? Yeah, so it's not so much, we're not going to use the word regret, but yes, so normally in our culture, we always blame the promiser, right? Hey, could you take out the garbage, right? You don't do it. I go, what the hell, right? But it may have been I asked the wrong person. They may not have known the full story of what taking out the garbage means. Maybe I didn't educate them enough to actually be a good promiser. Because that's my job as the requester, is to surround myself with those people. And too often in business, people are making requests of people who can't fulfill or can't fulfill fully. And that's where the breakdowns come from. Okay? So we work with our staff and our managers to become really good requesters, and our staff to become really good promisers, so that we can take care of each other. Because when we get stuff done and we don't cause breakdowns for anybody else, then the whole thing moves at a nice even pace, and we're not going back and trying to pick up the pieces. Okay? So we want to get really good at being a requester, and our managers are taught to look at their request if something doesn't go right. What did they do that probably could have been done better on their part? Could they have, maybe they were running out the door when they made the request, or maybe they didn't tell the full story about what the request is. Maybe the employee was too new, right? So it's on us as the requester, right, to surround ourselves with good promisers so we can get stuff done. I'm not going to go into a lot of this other stuff. You might be able to figure some of it out on your own. But the one I want to go to is B, from 2 down to 6. Because we're not omnipresent, we don't know what's going on all the time, we allow the employees to say, I can do that, but, right? It's a yes, but is what we call it. And they tell us what they're doing. And they may be taking care of a party of elderly people, and I don't know that. So I can say, okay, I'll get somebody else to do it. Or I can say, no, Amy's much better with old people. Let her do that, and you do this, right? So they get to say, yeah, I can do that, but I'm doing something else. And then we can organize around that to make a better request, either the right promiser or move people around to get stuff done that we need. So this is how stuff gets done in language. It's how things get generated. That's how work gets done anywhere, right? You want to work on becoming a good promiser wherever you are, and want to work at making a really good requests.